Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And
I
don't know. I got nothing.
It's a board gaming podcast.
It is a board gaming
Board
podcast,
games.
ostensibly.
Ostensibly.
We talked about a lot of board games last week.
We sure did.
We'll see if we talk about a lot of board games on any other, on this episode.
Yes. Because it will be another week before the next episode, which we would have more time to play board games.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Engagement period is not very engaging today.
pretty much, yeah. I'm still annoyed that the Twitch app doesn't let you just resubscribe with the Prime free one that you get.
You have to go to the website,
Which I'm trying to do, but it's
but not the mobile website.
No.
You have to go to the desktop website to be able to do that.
which is
they try and
annoying to
make-
do on your fucking phone.
They try and make it as hard as possible for you to give free money.
Yeah.
Because it's Subtober and September.
Is it
And
Subtober too?
No, it is not.
Okay. I was
Because you could literally put sub in front of any month and it's probably fine.
Yeah.
Subuary.
Yep.
Subuary.
Subarch.
Maybe Sarch.
Subarch.
Yeah.
Subuli.
Subrol.
Huh? Yes. It's the 12 months of sub.
What would you do with May?
Subay.
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 Subay. No.
But it also has the word bay in it. Remember
Saboon.
bay? People said bay a lot.
I do remember that.
Sup bay.
Salt Bay was a thing.
It's
Salt
still
Bay?
a thing.
Salt
And
bay? What is Salt Bay?
Is Salt Bay still a thing?
Yeah.
What is Salt Bay?
If you
It's,
want
it's the dude who did the
Yeah.
salt
Oh,
on his
okay.
forearm.
if you want to
okay.
pay fucking $1,000 for a gold foil covered tomahawk steak, you can just go to one of his restaurants and do that. And then also you could pay $16 for a Red Bull. You can also do that there too.
I'm learning a lot in these
Yeah.
last few minutes.
That's what I'm here for.
I hope you did too.
I definitely have learned a lot.
Good.
Anyhow, let's talk about board games, since this is a board gaming podcast that talks about board games, supposedly.
You can't prove that
You're right. I
in a
can't.
court of law.
I don't think I'd try to in a court of law. That
Nah.
seems excessive.
We plead guilty to whatever the charges were. I just don't want to deal with this, Your Honor.
Yep.
Send me to whatever. Send me to what's the Frisco? What's the name of the big prison? Canyon City.
To here?
Yeah. In
Oh,
Colorado.
in Canyon? I don't know.
It's the big Supermax Federal.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. But
Yeah. It's got all the people in it. It's got the Unabomber. It's got
Really?
all the bombers are there. Really. Yeah. Frisco, Fresno, something like I don't know.
Huh. Because Leavenworth is a big one, but I
It is.
think Leavenworth's in Kansas.
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway, wow. Just all over the place. San Quentin? No, I don't think so, because that's not in Colorado.
Florence.
Yeah, Florence. Yeah.
Florence.
I've definitely never heard that name.
Yeah, Florence. It's in Fremont County, Colorado.
Interesting.
It's where all the people are. Like the one guy they got from 9/11, that guy's there. Like,
Really?
yeah,
Why do they send him there? Not
It's
like
like
the
the-
other
it's-
Supermax prisons.
it's like the Supermax.
Then why is it not one I've ever heard of?
I don't know.
Because it's that's how you know it's legit.
Like all the fucking shitheads are there. The shitheads, like the extreme violent shitheads.
Anyway, let's talk about board games. Zach, what have you played?
Well, not much, unsurprisingly. But the biggest one I played was with Jeff.
Yes.
It's fine.
Okay.
The mics probably barely pick her up.
Barely pick up the dog whining. But we played another round of King's Dilemma, and in classic fashion.
Did the quill get brought?
No, of
No.
course it didn't. Because it's relying on Jeff to remember to bring something.
Well,
Well, no, it's reliant on me to remember to pack it before I go to work
Yeah.
because I do not go home before I go to game night.
yeah. Once again, it relies on Jeff to remember to bring something, and he
Well,
did not.
we
with
were
zero reminder in any way, shape, or form.
we were somewhere though, and you were talking about it.
Yeah, I've talked about it many times.
No, I mean like before Wednesday. What were we doing?
Oh yeah, no, we had talked about playing it before. It wasn't on Wednesday. He did not get a reminder, which is apparently
Right.
what needs to be.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I'm leaving the house at like 6-ish a.m., I'm going to need a fucking reminder for anything that's not basic needs.
Can you set a alarm on your phone for
Yes.
like Wednesday
Yes, I
at
could.
5:30 in the morning?
No, I won't do that. Let's say 5:50.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
You said you're leaving at 6. I wasn't sure what time you got up.
In the 6 a.m. hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But we played King's Dilemma.
How'd that go?
It was another game of King's Dilemma. We learned to vote against things that are clearly bad, and not vote for things that are clearly good. Like, hey, this stuff that's been a big problem, you kind of want to go 50-50 in on it? Because last time you did it, it turned out really, really bad. But maybe this time it's only going to be half as really, really bad as last time. So we're like, no, fuck that. And fuck you for even thinking of us trying to do that. It was pretty much like a no, hard no. But let's see how much we can squeeze out of each other around this hard no. I'm going to pass for tie. And then good luck, everyone. Give me money. If you want to get your power or whatever.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I continue my streak of doing real badly in that game.
But who knows what the fuck even real bad is? We continue to not know.
I know that getting last on everything except for the first one where I tied for third, it's not good. I don't have.
But who knows what does that even matter? We don't know.
It matters
it's not
because
like there's no points. There's nothing that says like, oh, if you're king this many times X, you win at the end of the campaign.
Yes,
there's literally
but there are numbers that we are tracking, and I am not highest in any of those numbers that we're tracking on both sides.
But who knows what you want then? But who knows what you want to go up in, like prestige versus Craven? Now you're right in the middle. Some other people that are hard in one way or the other might be
here's the thing. There are people that are still in the middle, but they still have more on each of them.
But who knows if that matters? There's literally no way to know if that matters or not.
Any way that you try and look at a possible way you could win, somebody's doing better at it than me. That's how I know I'm doing bad.
But we have no idea how you actually win this game.
I understand that.
Good. Then you should be like, well, it doesn't fucking matter what my score is right now because I have no idea how this game actually wins or loses.
But I know no matter how it ends, right now I'm doing worse than any other way that it could happen.
Maybe it's about having least of all of them.
No, it's not going to be that.
I don't know.
I know it's not going to be that.
How do you know? Have you cheated and looked at how you win this game?
If I have, then you think I'd be doing better.
Well, this game, at least 5 rounds in, we still have no fucking clue how you win or lose this campaign.
That's true. We've continued more of our storylines in there, and then we also found out that we were playing wrong just a little bit.
What were we a little bit?
Well, it was the how the cards came out for like when we did the king's the decisions for the king, like the card. I was saying that if it was the skull, you just move it to the right, whereas everything else just goes to the left.
Oh,
and it's not the order of the thing, which it turned out that it would have happened the same way regardless.
Yeah, it's like how many rounds you do versus how many rounds that have the little skull, and that depends on how long. It's basically the turn timer.
Yeah.
But we had screwed up the turn timer, but we realized that we screwed it up at the exact time that it would have ended anyways in the correct fashion.
Correct.
So we didn't technically really it was the order things would have gone in, I guess, but it didn't matter because the last one would have been the right way to do it anyways.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a minor. We screwed it up, but it was fine. That's what happens when you don't play a game for like 18 months straight.
Yep.
Did you play anything else, Zach?
Not really. I mean, I played The Crew, but that's why while we were waiting to play King's Dilemma, we were waiting for Jeff at that point. And so some of us busted it out to try it, because it was like new people were trying it. Both of the 3 rounds, because we did the same mission 3 times and we failed because it was one of those really annoying ones where you have to win a trick with a 1 and it just did not. Really, what it is that Ryan kept fucking it up for us. So
fucking Ryan.
Yeah,
That's about right.
Yeah, he kept going the wrong way, but it was, that one is a very hard one to do because it's, if it's, I think the second time we played it, I didn't have any of the ones, so I was just trying to throw offsuit whenever I could. But then it was a bad position where two people had, or one person had two of the trumps, but then the other two were split out between people. And it was near the end where they couldn't use it, or they had to take a trick that we didn't want them to take. So,
gotcha.
But that is basically it for me.
Right on. Jeff, did you play anything else besides those games?
Not that I recall. Did we play JIME since the last time we recorded, or was that pre?
I think it was. I think we
played JIME again.
Before last week, the last time we recorded was a month before that. So yes.
Yeah. So we played JIME. We're in the DLC of the Shadowed Paths expansion. It's sort of like a choose like one of these 5 options, but now that you have chosen one of them goes away, and then you have to choose from 3, and then one of those goes away, and then you have the last one. So you only get to see 3 of the 5 missions before it goes on to the next thing, which is, an interesting way to make you replay the campaign. Because it is random. I don't know if it's random which one goes away after the first one, but technically if you went back in to another campaign and chose the one you didn't get, it could randomly choose to pull out the one that you also didn't play from the previous one, because you can't play 2 of them. And they'd be like, well, I guess I got to play this for a 3rd time, and be like, that's probably too many times.
That sounds like too many times.
Yeah.
That's kind of too similar. Each map setup is different, but that's about it.
It's still enjoyable though.
Yeah, still good. We're 5-player. We're getting powerful. I think we had our first last stand of the campaign happen.
Yes.
Where Gimli had to make a last stand. Of course, the last stand was it fear or damage?
It was fear.
Okay.
And I was able to make it, so that was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's because all of the enemies attacked me.
Yes.
And then it was like, hey, we're just going to start fearing you a bunch. And I was like, oh, this is not how it was supposed to happen. Because I had just used the card that gives me an auto success to protect Gandalf.
Yeah.
So he could run away. And then I was like, oh, no, that's not good.
Oh, no.
I think the entire mission was like test agility over and over and over and over. And that was by far everyone's like worst stat. It made you test agility against fear like 4 times.
Gross.
Yeah.
And you're the agility dwarf, right?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
Two agility?
2 agility, yeah.
I think I'm at like 1.
You're at 1, yeah, because you took the armor.
Yeah.
That lets you... I forget what it helps you with.
It lets me test might instead of basically everything else.
Well, that's what the normal one does, but it was something else that you got like a higher count of like fear and something like that. So, no, it's still enjoying it.
I'm still good.
It still doesn't feel like it's hard though, which is,
and we are playing on hard.
Yeah,
with 5-player.
I see.
Yeah.
Except for moments like that where it's just like, oh god, there's so many people here.
Yeah, but it'll spawn a lot of dudes.
But when you're running away from an area, you only get attacked by one guy, so it's never like you can always run away from like a million dudes that are in one spot, and just one of them will attack you.
Yeah, you only provoke one.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But you provoke one from each space you move through. So, in our last one, we all kind of had to race to the exit, and it was like, well, I guess we're just going to start provoking dudes to get to the end because we're not going to fight all these guys.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
It's been a little tighter on like the turn timer, which is nice, but I'm not sure how much we have left in that game.
I would assume we're like 2/3 of the way done now.
Yeah.
Definitely want to start playing it with Megan.
Yeah.
You should.
I'm curious how it's going to play at 2 players.
I don't know.
And if
you have more time because the time goes up based on like X amount of players. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Might be even harder.
Maybe.
I'll just suggest this. Don't be like 2 dwarfs or something. Like, don't be something where you're like really hurting yourself on a stat.
Yeah.
Don't be two dwarfs and then take the armor that reduces your agility by 1, because then you'll just have 1 agility through the whole, like 1 jump and you guys are dead. So.
Yeah. It's like Go up these stairs. They're crumbling beneath you. Test agility.
Well, I'm
you are fucked.
Yeah.
We'll take that into consideration.
Yes.
Cool.
And
Anything-
there's the next expansion coming out sooner or later.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll have another 2 campaigns, a bunch more shit,
Yep.
and I'm sure a broken token insert that I will not be able to attach to the rest of my collection.
Or maybe some other token or the insert provider.
As long as it only fits the expansion materials. That's all I need. That's all I need. Just the expansion box. That's all.
Yeah.
Cool. So for myself, I only played 1 game since last episode, but I did remember there was something I forgot to talk about last episode, so I'm going to talk about 2 games. So game night, we went a little bit early. I offered Mike Jones the choice to either learn Hallertau. Well, I messaged him, was like, hey, do you want to meet up
Which
early?
UVA do you, am I going to make you play?
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Well, I didn't offer him a choice because I said, hey, do you want to go early? And he said, yes. What do you want to play? And I said, how about Hallertau? And he said, I'd like to learn Agricola because I own Agricola and I've never played it.
What?
Yeah. So Mike Jones had never played Agricola. So him and his buddy Matthew joined Megan and I, and we played a 4-player game of Agricola, Farmers of the Moor, on the revised edition. It took up the entire table. Like there was barely any space left.
But you played with 5. 4?
We
4.
only played with 4.
4.
I only have enough in the box for 4 because of the way I combined everything. I was not able to fit the 5th and 6th player. Like I can't even fit their pieces, let alone their player board, and let alone all the 5 and 6 player cards.
You have to make sure that you have every deck of Agricola cards available to you.
Which I don't even have all of the decks of it. Like, yeah.
You don't have the X deck, the Martian Invasion deck?
I don't own hardly any of the second market decks. The only aftermarket decks I own are the ones that came with the pre-painted minis that you had to buy individually. So I bought the blue player tokens.
You mean the officially licensed expansion decks?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I bought the blue ones of those, and they came with the blue cards, and then like I bought the yellow ones, and they came with yellow cards. But I've not mixed those cards in.
I also have like some weird like championship deck that I got through some shit. I don't know. That I've like never played with.
So tons of stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was a good game. I thought I was losing. I had multiple moments for me again of like,
you're usually always like, oh, I'm definitely going to win this. I would never complain about losing the entire game and then win.
Lately my modus has changed. I complain about losing the entire game and then still lose.
Oh, all right.
Which is what happened here. I did lose. I did not win. Megan didn't even win. Megan got second. Mike Jones's friend Matthew had a crushing victory.
It was someone played for first, and then everyone else played for second, third,
played for
and fourth.
not last.
Not last, yeah.
And I feel like I remember I caught Mike Jones about 2/3 of the way through the game, very much looking like he wasn't trying to fight not for last. Did that continue?
Correct.
Okay.
Mike Jones was in a good position. He had a big empty spot, but he was able to just surround it by fences and be like, this is a giant pasture for horses. It's fine now. So that worked out well for him. The final scores ended up being
so much room for horses.
Matthew with 58, Megan had 43, I had 42, and Mike Jones had 41.
Oh, okay. So
it
he
was
did catch up.
He did stay close.
Very, very close. It's very close.
And
he should have known the cards better, or he would have gotten those extra points.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, Matthew clearly didn't know the cards very well. Like he had hardly ever played.
I'm assuming you didn't draft, right?
No, we did not draft.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
We didn't draft. We used the mulligan rule. So you deal out the 7 occupation and the 7 minor improvement, and then you can discard as many as you want and redraw one time. It was fun. I remember at Geekway, I played Hallertau, and I really liked Hallertau, and I talked about that a little bit last week. And I messaged in Slack that I really liked Hallertau, and I don't remember who it was. I feel like
Neither do I.
I feel
it was me.
It was neither of you.
Oh,
okay. Well,
it was one of the other fans who said that they didn't really care.
Well, it's
for
only
Hallertau.
a handful, so
I think it might have been Ian. I think it might have been Signs Pointy S.
Yes.
Said that he ended up moving on from it because he felt that it didn't do anything that Agricola didn't. Like he got Agricola worked for him.
Why buy any other UVA game? You could just play Agricola for all time.
That's what some people think.
Yep,
Which-
that is what a lot of people think.
We had talked about it at the time, and I was like, "That's funny. I didn't really get, Agricola vibes off of Hallertau." And then the other thing he had said was like he didn't feel like the extra time for Hallertau made it worthwhile. He'd rather just play Agricola, which was tighter and faster. That 4-player game of Agricola, granted it had Mike Jones, new player, and Matthew, who had not played in like 7 to 8 years, and Megan and I, who probably not played in over a year. So it's not like we're fresh at it, but it took all of fucking game night. Like we set up, like I got there before 5. I think we were playing by 5, and we did not finish until like 8:30, maybe even 9. It might have been later. But it did not go well, time-wise. Took a while. Hallertau, 4-player, brand new, all of us learning the game. We did it in like 3 hours. And that was learning. That was like me sitting down reading the book while everybody else just chit-chatted. Then me putting the book aside, explaining the game, them asking a bunch of questions that I then had to look back up in the rules, then kind of stumbling through the first round and then getting the hang of it and playing. I think Hallertau typically would go, for at least at 4 players, would go much faster. I don't know about 2 players. 2-player Agricola could really move if you have 2 people who know what they're doing. But I don't know. I still enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Agricola. All the Uvas. I think I only own 3: Agricola, Feast, and
Le Havre.
4: Le Havre and Hallertau. Well, and technically I own like Patchwork and Caverna Cave vs. Cave and a bunch of the small 2-player ones, but I don't really count those. The big ones, I only
Agricola,
own.
Caverna, Feast, Noosefjord. That's all that comes to mind.
Yeah. Fields of Arl.
No.
There's another big one of his.
He's
Labora.
Prolific
Yeah.
designer.
Anyhow, so that was Agricola. I came in second to last, so I succeeded in not getting last.
There you go.
Thanks, Mike Jones, for taking one for the team.
1 point for the team.
What was your main strategy? What were you going?
So my cards were well suited to me, in theory, being able to race to stone houses, and that worked. I was well on my way for the first couple rounds. I grew fastest.
Were you playing with the expansion? There's no heating and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we were playing with
Farmers of More.
Farmers of the Moor.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was able to race to, like, I was always the first to get. I was the first to get the 3rd family member, the first to get the 4th, the first to get the 5th. I was one of the only ones to get the 5th, I think, which ended up helping because that's like 3 points right there. And then I got my house to all 5 rooms, and I upgraded to stone, which is the only reason that I didn't get last, that I was even competitive, because that's a big jump. Stone rooms are worth 2 points. Clay rooms are worth 1. Your regular wood rooms are worth nada.
Yeah.
So that was mainly my strategy. I was trying to grow fast. Like I'd gotten a occupation that let me ignore read for building new rooms and upgrading rooms. I only needed wood. So I thought that would make it easier, which it did early, and then wood became desperate. As people ran out of peat to burn for heat, everybody just kept taking wood. Like, it never sat for a turn. And so I wasn't able to build up wood as much as I needed to. And then I had another card that let me skip clay entirely and just go straight to stone, which was nice.
Okay.
But, yeah. I wish I could have eaten horses.
No
most of
horse
that
meat
game.
for you.
I was not able to get a cooking thing that let me cook horses.
Womp womp.
So yeah, so that was Agricola. The other game that I forgot to talk about last week. So when I went to, like, right around the time I was leaving for Costa Rica, Ian and Boyd invited me to Through the Ages on the app, and I finally caved and agreed. I don't remember what led to the first game of that, but the first game of it, I won. I beat Boyd after hearing how Boyd always beat up on Ian. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never played this with real people aside from that one time at Geekway like 5 years ago.
It was your estates play.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, I've not played with people, so I'm going to get smashed. And Ian was like, that's fine. I just want to get not last for once when I play with Boyd. And then I won. So Ian still got last.
No, he did.
And I felt pretty good about that. And then we played, I think, 4 more since then. And I have not won again. Boyd has won all of the remaining 4. Even one where Ian and I both very blatantly teamed up and, like, super smashed Boyd, he still managed to pull out a 1-point victory over me. I've gotten last, I think, a couple times, but mostly it's Boyd wins, I'm in second, and Ian's in last.
Gotcha.
Seems to be the way that continues to shake out. We've been on a break for about a week. The last game of it was very traumatic for both Ian and I. That was the one where we both, like, about halfway through the game, we were like full on ganged up on Boyd. Ian went full military, won 2 wars against him, like just smashed him. And Boyd still managed to win by a single point. He was 1 point ahead of me. It was like 134 to 133. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
So we took some time off, but it's a good app. It plays real nice.
I've heard good things.
I like it. I'm almost ready to get hurt again.
Your timer has almost reset.
Yeah. Especially because I've given up on the Broncos after this most recent weekend. So, I don't have that source of pain in my life. So I might as well have.
How many games have they played now?
They've played 6 games.
6? Okay.
This was 6 games.
This was their 6th
Gotcha.
game.
So the season high was after the 3rd game for you, and then just
correct.
Boom, boom, boom.
Really, it's kind of them. When I was in Costa Rica and I had Sundays off and I could watch the games, they did great. They played really well, albeit against bad teams. But they beat the bad teams, like, decisively. Like, they were averaging, like, 9 points a game against, like, letting people, like, people only scored 9 points against them. They were consistently scoring well into 20 points. Like, they were doing what, medium to good teams do, and in that they were stomping bad teams. And I got my hopes up. And then I came back here, and I'm working on Sunday, so I don't get to watch the games anymore. And the Broncos went, well, if we keep playing really well, Adrian's going to be sad he doesn't get to watch this. So we're just going to play really bad so he won't be upset that he doesn't get to watch the games anymore. And they succeeded. I'm not upset I don't get to watch the games anymore.
Hooray.
The Raiders coach resigned /quit /fired. He officially resigned.
That day or before the game?
Or earlier this week. So they have...
After the game.
No, before the game. So before Sunday's game, earlier that week.
Earlier last week.
Yes. Yeah. It's Monday. It's the beginning of this week.
I know, but they played Sunday, and then everyone thinks that the week is Sunday to Saturday. So unless it was early Sunday.
No, it was early
before the game Sunday.
Before the game Sunday. Sometime earlier that week. Before the game. In the week leading up to the game, the Raiders coach resigned in disgrace after email surfaced of him just being a really awful human being.
I think I saw some other news article about this that was like, and then we have reviewed every other email in the NFL team, everything, and we found no problems with anyone else's emails across the entire NFL. We checked ourselves out and we found ourselves to be A-okay.
Yeah. Which
no one is unbiased as much as yourself.
Chris Evans said that he didn't find that entirely surprising, considering like his experience doing like company-wide audits of emails and things, and especially because you have to be particularly fucking stupid to send egregiously bad emails on the company email. That's the thing, like. I have no doubt that a lot of the other coaches and owners and people say and do awful things all the time. They're just smart enough to keep it off of the official company emails.
Yes.
Which John Gruden was not smart enough to do.
He seems dumb.
He's not the best.
Yeah.
So the Raiders, coachless. They had an interim head coach.
Yeah.
But essentially coachless, in turmoil, came here to Denver and whooped us.
Nice.
It was not good.
Who's your quarterback right now?
It has been Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
Does it change like day to day?
No, it's been Teddy Bridgewater pretty much. The only time it wasn't Teddy Bridgewater was he got hurt in the first loss against the Ravens. They had a very late hit roughing the passer that was not called. It was egregious.
I remember the Ravens got away with some fucking murder calls, like helmet to helmet shit.
Multiple.
Yeah.
And one of them sent Teddy Bridgewater right before halftime, gave him a concussion, and so he was out the rest of that game, and then he didn't practice most of the following week, but was able to start.
I see.
So he has started all of the games. No, Tim Tebow has his NFL career is
He's not
officially done it this
yeah,
time.
Wasn't
he's
he
not
like
on
a
any-
tight end for like a game or something? And
I
people
don't think he made it to the regular season, but yes,
Okay.
the Jacksonville Jaguars for a while this year had him on their squad as a tight end.
Yeah.
I think he was cut before the regular season.
I saw a couple of his plays, and it was just like, whew, that's
Kids got hurt.
but
Anyways.
nothing else.
Not much else.
Yeah.
So that's the nice football related segue into banter.
I already wrote it down. We're technically in banter. We've been in banter for minutes now.
Yep.
Ski season starting up.
Now it's
Mountains have
A
opened.
Basin is open.
As is Wolf Creek.
Which passes do you guys have?
Just Keystone.
Okay.
I have the Icon and I have Bluebird Backcountry again.
That was the one that you did last year, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And
just got-
both
Does Icon work with
Keystone? It does not.
Okay.
Keystone is Epic.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Basin is Icon.
A Basin is independent.
Oh, they were on Icon.
You get 4, 6, something like that. You get less than 10 days on Icon, and then I get 3 days with my Bluebird.
Gotcha.
So we'll get a total of almost 10 days
They-
at A Basin.
They were Epic, and it used to be like a Keystone A Bay pass, which
a
is
great
which
pass.
is what I got originally.
Mm-hmm.
And then never went to A Basin ever, and just did Keystone.
Yeah.
So I just got just the Keystone this year. They dropped prices like 20% across the board, so that made the Keystone Pass very.
Nice. Are you in the?
We are not in the condo.
You're not
this
in the
year.
condo. Okay.
I am in the condo.
Jeff is in the condo. Yeah, the last year that we were in, right before COVID, we didn't get to use it nearly enough to make it worthwhile, considering we have the dog.
Right.
Because now we
yeah.
either have to find somebody to watch her,
Yeah.
or we have to pay to board her, both of which are not ideal for us. So if the condos were dog friendly, we'd be interested in getting back into one. But with Ant's allergies,
It is
making it death for him to be in the same
the
vicinity of
the
a dog.
condo also does not allow dogs.
The
Right.
new condo. The old
Yeah.
condo used to.
Oh, did it? I
Yes.
did not realize.
Yeah, it was an
Okay.
ant rule that there was no
I
dogs.
see.
Which is like one of the seasons we showed up there and there was fucking dog hair like everywhere from the summer. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be rough for Ant.
But this condo specifically says no pets.
Is it in the same area as the previous one?
A
or-
little bit more east, a
Okay.
little bit more, because the other one was on Dillon Reservoir. This is just like a little bit east
Gotcha.
of Reservoir.
Kind of still around the bend there or more in town?
Towards Keystone.
Oh, okay.
That's east, right? Right from the reservoir. I don't know. I haven't looked at them.
feel like it's south.
I want to say Dillon downtown is right on 70 there, and then south. I don't know.
I think it's south.
It's towards Keystone. It's
Okay.
closer to Keystone.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original condo was much closer to Keystone. It was right across from the Kala
I've
pub.
only
It was
ever
a lot of
I've
fun
only
there,
ever
too.
attended Murder Pier.
Yeah, Murder Cove was also nice.
I see.
Is this one also named a murder?
It is named a murder.
Because I know Jelaine took it over. I
Yes,
didn't know if she kept the naming
Jelaine-
conventions.
Oh, absolutely. It is a murder court.
Ah, murder court. We'll probably occasionally be down to throw down on some guest fees, leave the dog with some friends here once or twice.
I
Throw down on some
would
guest
suspect
fees.
the guest fees are going to be a little bit more because we're
fine.
paying like $150 more a month per person than we
Yeah.
were previous years.
Yeah.
So
Considering
less
we're
people?
not pen.
Huh?
Does you have less people, or is it this?
yes, and
Okay.
it is less people, but the place is also significantly more expensive. $3,800 a month.
Right. Is
Yeah.
is it better though? Or
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All
I
right.
It
would
looked
say.
nicer.
It looks much nicer and much bigger.
Is it bigger too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like square footage, it is bigger, but the bedrooms are like it's less bedroom.
Really?
So there's just more space, but less bedrooms.
There's less, like, is there still 3 bedrooms?
I think there's only 2 bedrooms,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That kind of stinks.
but it has like a garage and it's like built-in stuff. Like there's a hot tub there that's just for your fucking condo.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
I like not sharing hot tubs.
Yeah. There was like one general hot tub for the whole like 18 unit like condo.
Luckily, almost
Condominium.
no one used it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But occasionally people did, and that kind of sucked.
Yeah, just fuck those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be my first year after shattering my leg. Then I'm back on the slopes.
Hope.
See how it goes.
Hope it goes well for you.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that would happen is I would need like a knee pad for just my left knee. Because even just like if I ever have to crawl on my knees for anything, like even if I'm just on my bed trying to like reach something on my knees, it's like my left knee doesn't feel great.
Right.
So like slamming onto my knees over and over would probably be not ideal.
Yeah,
No,
that makes sense. I mean, yeah,
But that's always been the weakest part of the entire healing process is just kind of like my knee is more sensitive.
I think this year I'm going to actually look into some kind of a like knee brace for mine because mine has never quite been good since like my first season when I twisted the shit out of it. And as I get older and older, it seems to get more and more aggravated.
Yay! Everyone knows about getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Boyd can look down on us from his old throne.
Yes, the oldest of olds.
It's like an iron throne, but made out of old people. I don't know.
No, it's an iron throne. It's
made out of Metamucil tablets.
No, it's made out of that chair that you have to.
The
put on top of
the walkers. It's made out of melted together walkers. That is his Boyd's throne. But yeah, snowboarding is around the corner.
Yes,
it's happening now. I have friends that have gone. They have snowboarded already this year at A Basin.
Sobek?
Yeah,
I saw his post from,
that sounds right. Yeah,
from opening week.
Yeah, he's a big A-Bay guy.
Yeah. Moving on from snowboarding stuff, as excited as I am for the season.
Yes.
Just to keep things moving a little bit. Squid Game, really good.
It was.
I watched it like the first couple days it came out, so this is old news to me.
Yeah.
I know for me, I watched the first episode and then I was like, I'm super excited. Let me watch. I'm gonna go to bed early so that I can watch, an episode a night, and then I proceeded to just not do that for like a week and a half. Like I'd get there and then I'd on my phone and be like, let me just look on TikTok for like a minute, and then an hour and a half later I'm like, God damn it, I need to go to sleep now.
Yeah, I think I spent a whole Saturday just watching that on like my second monitor.
I watched it pretty much in a weekend when I finally got around to
I
it.
got to I was watching an episode, and then on Friday night, it was like, Friday night, I was like, let me just, build a Lego thing while I started watching it. And then it was just like, fucking cliffhanger. And I was like, God damn it, you can't end it like that. Next one. Oh, you can't fucking do me like next one. And then I just watched them all. And then I was like, God damn. Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah. Didn't love the ending, but we'll see
because
where
there's
things
going to be
go.
It's going to be another season. Pretty sure there's going to be another season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like for how
That's what I've
popular it
heard.
is, they're not just going to cut it
Well,
there.
and
I don't
they
think.
left it with multiple open storylines.
Yeah,
and I don't think Netflix like funded or anything. They just like took it from Korea and like brought it to Netflix.
The guy had
Correct,
been
Boyd, talking Squid Game.
the guy had been trying to make it for like a decade.
Yeah, many years.
And good for him that it's like what I think it was 111 million subscribers
the
watched it.
Most watched thing on Netflix ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is crazy.
I want to say
Did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
I subs.
Okay.
subs.
Good.
I have made the full
I
transition.
I think it started dubbed, and I was like, "Whoa, no, we're not doing this." I have watched The Host in a movie theater dubbed, and it was a nightmarish, horrible, like what?
So bad.
Like 60s Godzilla level bad of dubbing.
That was the one that we were all in where we complained and they switched it to subs.
Yes.
We were like, this
And
was
then they
not supposed to be
And
dubbed.
they couldn't scrub it to the right part where we left off, or before we left off. It was like, no, this is too far.
Yeah.
So yeah. Squid Game. It's good.
Yeah, I like
Everyone loves it. You should love it too.
The ending I thought, like I said, was a little weak, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they might do for the second season.
Yeah, it's just stepping.
I know. And like, there's plenty. They could do prequels. They could do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll just say fucking episode 6 wrecked me.
Was that the pair up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It was the worst.
Oh yeah. That one was bad.
Yeah. Because it's like as soon as it started happening, you're like, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You're like, why are you making me like these characters so much more now?
No, we're developing them too much for what's about to happen. You're making me care.
Yeah.
I watched all of For All Mankind, which is the Apple TV Plus fucking whatever series It's about an alternate history if the Russians beat the U.S. to the moon. Like the series starts with the Russians landing on the moon in 1969,
Okay.
right before Apollo 11, like between Apollo 10 and Apollo 11. And then like how that changes history, and like it's all focused on the space program and NASA and stuff like that. But it was very there's 2 seasons. The second season ended like 6 months ago. I watched all 2 seasons, and it was very, very, very good.
Those alt history things, sometimes they're interesting to me, like as a vague what if, like Man in the High Castle kind of a thing. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
but I feel like from everything I've ever like heard, like in regards to this especially, like the Russians were nowhere fucking close. Like it wasn't really a race.
Yeah, and that's why there is some alternate history explanation of like how they made it happen.
How they actually
And then like they got more money from trading more with Central and South America, and that made Central and South America a little more socialist, and it caused like Panama to be that much worse. And for every economic sanction that they would put on Russia, they would just press harder on those trading leverages. And like where the Panama Canal, the crisis on the Suez, whatever the Twilight Struggle card is, was significantly worse in this timeline because of that.
Okay. Interesting.
And one thing I really liked is because the Apple TV, they got the app and stuff like that. They have all these alternate history bits, but then they also are like, this is what actually happened in real history. And so you can kind of learn a little bit of
That's cool.
Like in the series, in the show, between like season 1 and 2, they have all these little vignettes, and it's like they landed a rover on Mars in 1973. And like, because the space race never ends, so technology just kept getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's like, this is what really happened. We didn't get there till like fucking 97. And like electric cars are a lot bigger in the series because all of the battery technology kept moving along because NASA needed better batteries, which moved into the commercial area to where like my electric car gets 60 miles to the charge. Like, but that's in like 1980. Like, who would have thought that would have been a thing?
Right.
That's one thing that I feel like not enough people realize is how much extra benefit, like how much was it, like for every like $1 of whatever that went into NASA, you got like so much more out of it.
Yeah, you got like $10 in like commercial like research or development out of NASA.
Yeah.
Whatever they made something in our lives better.
And that's where Velcro came, and then
Yeah.
But also, Nixon is a huge douchebag and wants to militarize space because he wants to keep trying to beat the Russians. But like, presidents change because so-and-so got elected off of this space race thing.
Right.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I would it's got
Did JFK still die?
This takes place in 1969. So yes.
Okay.
60.
Well, because I know one of the big pushes was him like proclaiming it and then
dying
and then
yes.
yeah.
So but this takes place years later,
right,
after JFK was assassinated.
Okay. Yeah.
The Johnson administration
right
is kind of the first weird hook.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it's this butterfly effect through the whole series of like, this is different, that's different, this different.
That one sounds like an alternate history where it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I heard Man in the High Castle, it's like, what if the Nazis won? I'm like, I don't care about what would happen if the Nazis won. I don't want to listen. I don't want to watch that.
Yeah. And the reason the Nazis won is because World War II president FDR wasn't elected president. It was like his competitor was actually elected instead.
Right.
And that's where the what if in Man in the High Castle really starts.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Or the thankfully failed show that
the Confederate
what if the Confederacy won? And I'll be like, yeah, I don't care about watching
I don't
that.
want it. I don't want this.
Yeah, that one no.
Yeah.
Thank God that they are not doing anything.
Yeah. Fucking D&D.
But yeah. For All Mankind. I watched all 2 seasons, like 20 episodes, and it was very, very enjoyable. Very well done. It's got Rick Flag guy from the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
Rick Flag. He's the main
Joe
character.
Kinnaman or something like that.
I have no idea. The mom from The Boys.
Oh.
She's his wife /
okay.
partner. And I was like, what is she from? And I was like, The Boys. That's what she was from. But I don't know if actually this happened or if the boys happened first. So, yeah, For All Mankind. Very good. Highly recommend.
Wait, which mom?
Keith Urban's wife
Oh, okay.
character.
The one who you think is dead for most of.
Do you want to take that name again?
Spoilers? What? Sorry.
Carl Urban?
Carl Urban? Kevin,
You
what did I
said
say?
Keith Urban.
Keith Urban. That is
Famed
a
country
country.
star.
Yeah. Keith Urban, classic The Boys star. Don't worry, we're just
Joel Kinnaman. That's what it was. I was
Joel
close.
Kinnaman.
Missed the L.
We're just spoiling The Boys season 1 and 2 here. That's fine.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
That's fine.
I also, speaking of fun things to watch, I introduced Megan to Hot Ones.
Nice.
Which is actually really good. I also recently got into Hot Ones, and then I was talking to one of Megan's coworkers. We were eating Indian food and talking about like hot reference things, and she's like, "Have you ever seen a show called Hot Ones?" I was like, "Oh my god, yes." And we were talking about it. Megan was like, "That sounds interesting," and then we watched.
The guy does. He's a real good
Sean
job.
Evans.
Does a real good job with his questions.
He does a really good job with his questions, and then he does a really great job like just matching wherever the guests are with things. Like if they're being like really water and milk drinking, he'll like drink right along with them to make them feel more at home.
The Illegal Pete's on Colfax has a bunch of Hot Ones hot sauces that you
do
can
they?
request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about ordering like
They've got the fucking dab or whatever the
last
fuck.
dab.
Yeah. I have not tried it, but the guy next to me put like a dab of it in his queso, and he was just like sweating the whole time. He even mixed it through, and it was apparently woo.
I'm not surprised.
I mixed some like local habanero jelly hot sauce stuff into my biscuits and gravy this morning at Denver Biscuit Company.
Well, that sounds very good.
Nice.
I want Denver Biscuit Company now.
Yeah.
Said I want Denver Biscuit Company now.
I thought you said I don't like Denver Biscuit Company, and I was
I
like,
love it.
wait, what happened?
What happened?
Last thing that I'll talk about real quick before we potentially move on.
Never.
On the way back from Geekway, I listened to the audiobook The Bomber Mafia by Malcolm Gladwell. Bomber Mafia by Malcolm Gladwell. It was fantastic. So Malcolm Gladwell, if you don't know who he is, he's kind of like a sociologist, like social psychologist person. He was on Hot Ones at one point. He's done a bunch of other stuff, like TED Talk type stuff and things that I really like. But he started a new publishing company called Pushkin Industries, and they are focused on making books that are first and foremost an audiobook. Like that's the goal. It's for them to be an audiobook. And this was the first one of those. And it's basically about the Air Force before it was the Air Force during World War II, when it was like still
US
a department
Army,
of the
Air
Army.
Force.
Yeah. And like the US's approach to bombing in World War II, and like some of the like controversies that went on there, and like their different strategies versus like the UK strategy and things like that.
Which was, bomb everything.
Well, the British especially were bomb everything because they were also getting like everything bombed.
Yes.
And I did not know that, Pizza Snob, which is uncomfortable. But
yes, talk about your Epstein connection book that you just listened to.
Well, Gladwell apparently does. I didn't know about that. The
now
book
you
itself,
do.
though,
Now you should feel bad.
The American bombers, they were trying really hard in the European theater to use like targeted bombing to like actually take things out like strategically, but it wasn't really working. And it goes into a whole bunch of things why, and leads all the way up to the invention of napalm, and then us just firebombing Japan, like 60 different cities napalmed into ash.
Yep.
And it has...
Boy, did we firebomb the entirety of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's the interesting thing about it is it pulls a lot of old audio recordings of like these generals and like civilian interviews and all kinds of people talking about like all the different bits and pieces throughout it. And it's put together really well.
That's why I really liked the Peter Jackson They shall not
Grow young.
grow old.
Grow old. They will not grow old.
Oh,
because the entirety of the entire documentary is just audio from veterans. And they will piece that audio together to be on whatever topic that the veteran was talking about film-wise. But yeah, I really liked that way of like you got pieces, you got the documentary from the people that were there.
But that's all I have for banter. So I don't know if you have anything else that you guys want to throw in. I'm still really enjoying.
Split Lip Chicken had their first bone-in day of Nashville hot chicken from their new spot at number 38 because they just did sandwiches and burgers for now and then like other menu items. But they did bone-in chicken as a Sunday special.
And they have claimed all of the cooking space, like they said.
There was 3 kitchens there. There was like a pizza spot and then 2 other kitchens.
There was like a taco place and then them and then
it was like a street food sort of spot.
Now it's just all them.
It is literally them, only them. Yeah. And they have like a brunch menu. It's very good. It's just as good as it always was, and I can't really complain.
It was very, very tasty, but also
it was nice getting the bone in again.
It was nice getting the bone in again, but also when I get the bone in, I don't order 4 pieces
because it was half.
It was half a chicken.
Yeah, it was half. You had to order a half chicken.
Yeah.
For
by the time I got to the thigh, I was just like, oh, this is a lot.
Yeah.
I ate about just half of it, but
it was the exact amount of chicken I wanted.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't order his normal 2.
I would
entrees.
get 1 thigh and a burger. I wouldn't get 2 thighs. And
I feel like multiple times I've seen you order like 2 burgers or a burger and a sandwich or something like that.
I would definitely get bone in something and a burger. Each of those would be a meal for sure. And then I would get a side too. It was no small amount of food.
No. And then also
because you never know when it's going to reappear.
That's true.
But now we know. Now we know it will be there.
Now we know.
We know.
Now we know. I think you said that they probably added it to because they were
there. I talked with the owner and on multiple occasions since I've been there, and he was like, "Yeah, our Sundays are pretty slow after brunch. We have a good brunch, but then like football starts, and then that kind of dies out." So they wanted to bring in a little bit more business post brunch on a Sunday. So,
and we're a small sample size, but it worked because all 3 of us were like, "Oh shit, they're doing that. Let's go."
Yeah, totally. And we weren't the only ones doing it either. So, and then they had like the football on because it's like a venue and like a ton of.
Have you ever? Yeah, I'm assuming you haven't been there.
Nope.
You basically give them your card in the beginning, and they give you like a little thing you just scan. You just walk up, you're like, "I want a beer." Scan, and they give you the beer.
Yep.
Yeah.
But perfect thing of like, I want that beer. You don't know how much that beer costs.
Unless you scan the QR code and it's just on the website, like all menus are now.
Yeah. Well, that requires extra
steps.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's a cool venue. It's got like, I would have like sand volleyball there when it's, the weather's right, which it was on Sunday. But they have a big projector screen, so they had all like the football on.
Cool.
On the big projector, and then 1,000 TVs and a big patio. It's a cool spot. It's a really cool spot. It's right next to the Rhino Art Park, which they also just opened up. They're trying to make that whole North Rhino area more attractive.
Sure.
Because before it was like, who the fuck gives a shit about what's across the river? That's not Rhino. That's some other fucking neighborhood.
Yep.
But now it's they've put enough money into where now you have to call it Rhinos as well, even though they are very disconnected by railroad tracks and water.
Yeah.
They're not north of the river.
Yeah.
They're no rye.
Yeah, no rye. I don't know. That's probably it.
Cool.
I beat Metroid Dread.
Oh, nice.
10 hours, 100%.
I'm really enjoying Robot Dinosaur game. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Gotcha.
It's very fun.
Although even though I'm like almost level 30, I don't feel any more capable of destroying anything except the Watchers.
Correct.
The Watchers are very easy to kill.
Yeah. Well, you shoot them in the eye and they die. So
yes.
yeah.
Well, or you heavy attack them and then stab them when they're down.
Also yes.
Like level 30.
Metroid Dread, after I beat it, was like, here's a hard mode. Also, to get all of these JPEGs, you need to beat them in under 4 hours, and I was like, guess I'm done playing this game forever.
Sounds about
so
right.
I don't need to just speed run this game to get the JPEGs of the ending. You know what I can do? I can search the JPEGs on the internet and look at them on my computer screen.
They may be like NFT JPEGs though, so
Yeah.
One about NFT.
You know what? Nintendo's so scared of the internet that will never happen.
Apparently, there is some. I think EA maybe had said that they were looking into NFT stuff.
I'm sure. It's all a fucking nightmare.
yeah.
The Dead by Daylight is adding
No.
3D model NFTs or something like that to their next DLC because they're putting in Hellraiser next. And they're like, get the Hellraiser NFT DLC.
I was thinking of Dying Light. I don't give a shit about Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight's the serial killer.
I don't care about either of them.
Yeah,
so.
I don't.
Dying Light's parkour zombies.
Dying Light's pretty fun.
Dying Light 2 is coming out soon.
It's not out already?
It's been delayed at least 1 million times.
Yeah.
Okay, done. 1 hour.
Boom.
Great episode, guys.
No, we have news and Kickstarters this week.
Oh, we still do that now?
Yeah,
Oh.
we skipped them last week because we had a bajillion games. This time we had no games and a lot of banter.
Yes.
But we still have time for news and Kickstarter, especially because there's no listener feedback.
Correct. First up in news. Did you know there's a Queen's Dilemma coming? Well, it's a good thing you didn't know before they announced that they are delaying it because of shipping reasons.
Yeah. Which I didn't see anything. Because I never heard about it. And
I had not heard about this at all.
This article didn't make it sound like it was delayed. It just made it sound like they just
announced it.
Like
they announced it, and they announced that it's not coming till like 2023.
Yeah.
Well, was it that they were doing a Kickstarter for it, or am I thinking of a different article?
No, I didn't see anything about a Kickstarter in this one either.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think so.
The big things that this one talks about is that Queen's Dilemma is going to kind of follow up. It's going to be a sequel. It's going to use the same voting system, but they're going to have somehow incorporate greater narrative and mechanical variety. And instead of representing separate houses, players will now take charge of entire regions of the kingdom. Which I don't know. Who knows how that's going to work out? Which you
technically were before, but there was no mechanic for it. It's like, I'm just from this area of the map.
Yeah. Which maybe now that area of the map will be like the industrial area, and that'll give you
like my people are like super hardworking harbor folk, but they're super rich.
Yeah.
And don't live long enough to enjoy their spoils of being rich and hardworking, which is something that doesn't exist in the real world because you're super rich and you live a long time and you get to enjoy all your riches and you actually don't work that hard probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my fantasy faction. Yeah, it's the real bootstrap faction.
Sure.
Like if the bootstrap faction actually existed.
There you go.
Yeah. Queen's Dilemma. It seems. Yeah, I would absolutely play more.
Yeah.
Well, and we'll probably finish it by then.
Yeah.
So
hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember, like Reigns came out, and then there was a like Queen Reigns or whatever.
It was King's Reign, Queen's Reign,
and that one was better than the first one because it expanded and also added new stuff. So that's what I'm hoping.
Then there was a Game of Thrones one, which was pretty good.
Yep.
And then there was a space one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Some other things they talk about adding in this one is there is like a construction mechanic, so you can build buildings in your regions. And then there is an option to buy and sell various resources and trade them around the table.
Yeah, this seems like
happen.
It seems like pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I'm just curious to see how much the like continuity is going to exist between the two games because I don't know.
They say levels of continuity.
Yeah, because I don't. Obviously, like each game is going to be different, but it's like I wonder how much they're going to play. Maybe it's just like, oh, what's your final card for here? Go off of this or something like that.
Or it might be like, I don't know. I haven't played King's Dilemma, but like I don't know how cards are titled, but maybe
they don't really have titles, but they have symbols that like show you for specific storylines. So
wow. I didn't know maybe the text of them, like if you'll recognize one later, where like your decision here went this way, and they'll just do it really vague.
Or it's just like it's X amount of generations in the future, and you will just hear vagaries about the 6 or so different storylines that they can chat about in the lore.
Yeah.
It does say that they would not confirm whether it would release directly at retail or crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Just that the first one was able to do it retail.
Yes.
So
We'll
Indeed.
see.
Yeah, so that's Queen's Dilemma
Queen's Dilemma.
in
That's fun.
2023. Plenty of time.
Yes.
Plenty of
That's-
time for us to finish ours, Jeff.
No, you think. How's that Pandemic Legacy Season 2 game going?
We finished it.
We finished season 2.
What was the timeline on that one?
2 years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Next up in news. Hey, remember Ice Cool? But what if it was robots?
Yeah, so Iron Forest, the Ice Cool spinoff, has been announced. It takes place in the same universe because everything's got to have a universe now.
Shared universe.
So this is
But it has like sick ass, like multi-tier shit now.
So the big thing that this one adds, so now you're, instead of penguins, you are robots fighting in a forest.
Yeah.
And it introduces a second level. So you can kind of see in the first picture here on this article, there's a whole second tier.
It's like these plastic tubes that are lifting up a similar board, like let's say at least a foot off the top of the top one, but there's little holes in the bottom of the top tier.
Yeah, there's holes in the floor of it that you can fall through back onto the bottom tier. And the way you get up there is you go to like these little corner areas, and they have they don't show a good picture of one on this article, but they mention that they have these little like catapults where you can, instead of flicking your person, you can load them into the little like catapult and catapult them up onto the upper region.
There's one right there, I think. So it's on the
go
up.
up. Oh,
right
it's
there
off to the side there.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting. So it's like a tube, so it even kind of directs you like straight up.
It's like a
then-
vertical tube of pinball
Yeah.
It's like an internet.
trebuchet. It's like an internet?
Yeah.
It's a series of tubes. Well, it's only one tube, but there's at least 5 tubes in the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you can load yourself into that little catapult and launch yourself up onto the upper tier there.
that's neat.
And then at least with this setup, it looks like there's 5, maybe 6 holes down into in that upper one to fall back down. And so yeah.
Yeah, it seems like an interesting take on, a spiritual sequel, shared universe
Yep.
game.
Yeah.
This is the one I saw that says it's going to launch as a Kickstarter campaign.
This?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's also going to be 7 different scenarios, each with unique sets of victory conditions and special rules. Things
I'm
like
sure you
racing
can-
to collect objective markers in your color by passing through doorways, fighting to stay on the raised level for the longest period of time, or just damaging opponents until they're destroyed. So it looks like they're also kind of expanding some of what you can do rather than, flick through yourself through doorways.
Although it feels like they're trying to challenge me to not flick from the bottom to the top. It feels like a challenge, and I don't like that.
Someone's going to do it.
I'm gonna do it.
You got to learn how to do a little.
Also,
hot
and
flick.
then you've shattered your fingernail as you've done it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Look, it's gonna be worth it though, and then it's gonna immediately fall through a hole and then go right back down.
Uh-huh.
And then it'd been like,
Well, I can't flick with my right hand anymore.
thank God
'cause-
I'm left-handed.
So yeah. They say half an hour, 40
same
minutes per
same as
scenario.
Same as the old Ice Cool, unless you're playing like a big game.
Up to 2 to 8 players, split into 2 teams.
Oh, teams now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said up to 8?
Up to 8.
So that's basically, so they did Ice Cool and then Ice Cool 2, and you could combine them and then play with 8 players. So it seems
But
like
but was there a team variant in that?
I don't know if there was or not, but what I'm saying is that like it seems like it's just doing that from the beginning, which is cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, look forward to paying $70 for this.
Yeah, who knows?
When it launches in February of 2022.
Indeed. And apparently it's been in the works for like 3 years.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's only a scant 4 months away, and then a year and a half until the game comes out. So it's-
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yeah. Next up on news. Remember when they were like, oh, the Keyforge algorithm, it's all screwed up and we have to rewrite it, so there's not going to be any Keyforge soon. It's because you done fucked up.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's a rumor going around.
Rumors.
yeah.
Spread by none other than Stephen Bonacore of Stronghold Games as like
X
one of the
Stronghold-
highest
X Stronghold.
X Stronghold
Indie
games.
boards and cards.
Yeah.
X.
But he's like the highest person that I've heard who's been spreading this rumor.
Yes.
That the issue at hand wasn't that the algorithm broke so much as that it was ransomware. And Fantasy Flight was like, yeah, we're not going to pay for it. We'll just rebuild it from the ground up.
Let's have no backups of the entire fucking algorithm for this entire game except to just get ransomwared and fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
You're never getting it back, I guess.
Yep. So there's a John Oliver recently about ransomware and how it's becoming like a huge fucking
Oh, I'm
problem.
not surprised. Yeah.
It's like hospitals and schools.
Yeah.
All kinds of
because they all
things.
run Windows XP still.
Yeah. And apparently like now there's like companies that basically they just make ransomware software where it's like, hey, you want to ransomware attack somebody? Well, you can buy our software and it will automate the process for you.
Yeah.
They need to ransomware those people. Be like, I want to do it, and then you use it against them. Yeah. And obviously they're not going to be prepared for that.
But this is our software.
I'm sure they didn't build any backdoors into their ransomware
calls coming
software.
from inside the house.
Well, if Horizon Zero Dawn taught me anything about backdooring,
it's true.
You just don't put it in there.
Just don't put it in there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the rumor going around about Keyforge as to why it actually canceled.
Which makes sense. I mean, it's one that definitely makes sense, especially like you're saying.
Why it's like, but
why
the
they
algorithm
randomly
doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead and see how that works out for you, Boyd.
Yeah.
Ransomware our website and see how that goes.
No, he said he was going to ransom the web styer.
Oh,
yeah.
That's something totally different. Well,
please don't do that. We
actually really need the website.
Yes, we do.
Last up on news, there's a World Series of board gaming coming, and it doesn't look great.
Yeah. So when I first heard about this, I thought it was interesting. Like, it sounded cool, and then I learned about it, and it doesn't sound as cool anymore.
And now you get to learn about it.
Yeah. So it's the World Series of board gaming. It's going to take place in Las Vegas. They are announcing 16 different games that are going to be played in this World Series of board gaming. And basically, the way that it plays, and this is incredibly unclear, so pardon if this explanation makes no fucking sense. But it's a 5-day event, and the first 4 days are going to be 16 ring events. They're preliminary rounds, and then the final day will be the finals. You're going to, on those ring events, it's going to be 4 or more rounds of play, and you...
So of the 16 games,
you will...
2 will be played on Wednesday, 4 Thursday, 5 Friday, 5 Saturday.
But you can only play in each entrant can only play in 1 game per day.
Yes.
So you won't play all of the games. The way this is laid out in this article is also bad. So each game is going to be 3 or 4 players. When you sign up, you can choose which game to play in the preliminary rounds, and you can play in up to 4 games in the preliminary rounds. Then, depending on how well you do, you can earn your way into being a finalist. They're going to choose 16 finalists. And again, this is where like it says you can play in up to 4 games, but then the winner of each game will become one of the 16 finalists. So I don't...
And there's like a
once
wheel...
you win, are you done?
And then there's a wheel spin to choose a game from the 16 that is not a game won by any of the 4 in that group.
Yeah, so there's 16 games. You'll play 4 of them. That will leave 12 games. They'll take winners from the games. They'll put them together because they each, in theory, won 1 game.
Yeah.
Each of those 4 winners. Those 4 games that they each won won't be on the spinner. The other 12 that none of them played will be. They'll spin. That will tell you what game you're going to play. And so there's going to be 4 groups doing that, spinning the wheel and then playing. Then the winner of each of those 4 spun games will play in one final game together with another wheel spin, and whoever wins that will take home the grand prize.
$25,000.
Yeah. If you're one of the 16 finalists, you get a ring, which I think that's what this upper image is here, a mock-up of the ring, which also looks like the shittiest high school class ring of all time.
But diamonds.
That I'm certain probably aren't actually diamonds.
Probably not.
And then if you get first, like Jeff said, you get the $25,000. You also will get a World Series of Board Gaming Championship bracelet valued at over $3,000. So maybe diamonds.
Yeah.
Second place gets $10,000 and third place gets $5,000. And that's in addition to the gold rings for the finalists. Where this gets even dumber is that part of it, they said it's going to be a like World Series Board Gaming Vegas is an annual event located in Las Vegas, Nevada that supports and encourages both casual and competitive board gaming. But then on a different part of it where they talked about it, it says World Series Board Gaming Vegas, which they have a WSBG Vegas, is not a typical convention or gaming event designed for the general public. The events are exclusive for championship players and any guests that they bring with them. And I'm not sure whether
but
is it invite only?
Yeah,
or do you just buy a $250 ticket to become
it's the championship, but then they're like 15,000 game library, open gaming hall, and then but an exhibitor hall,
1,500 game library.
1,500, yeah. But exhibitor hall, it sounds like a con, but yeah.
And the players and their guests will be allowed to participate in all activities with the exception of the ring events and their finals, where only registered players will be allowed to participate.
Yeah.
So how do you and they don't have any information about how to register.
Also the games are kind of...
And the games, they haven't announced them all. They're leaking them, using all of the different...
Through the month of October.
Yeah. So Blood Rage is the first game. It was announced by Dice Tower, Man vs. Meeple, Watch It Play. All these different groups are announcing games. They've announced 10 of them. Blood Rage, Raw, Azul, Seven Wonders, Splendor, Dune Imperium, Ticket to Ride, Settlers of Catan, Carcassonne, Great Western Trail.
With Great Western Trail being by far the heaviest game of the entire list so far.
Well, and some of these are games where you can actually win with real strategy and playing smart. Other ones,
but Blood Rage, you can get the Loki system and just dominate everyone. There's the whole Loki draft where you're just I guess I'm going to win the game because I got the couple Loki cards that in the draft.
And you just got to hope that the people who are playing it would understand, don't let the person get that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So,
although they could just get lucky and they get it in their first hand when they draft.
Well, then you can only pick one and then you pass because it's drafting.
I think he's saying the beginning of each.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I played Blood Rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it hardly, I don't know. The whole thing seems bonkers. What with the championship's going to be a spin of the wheel. So the championship round, the final to determine who wins $25,000 could be a riveting game of Ticket to Ride.
Yes.
It just seems, and if you play the games you're strong at to get in the first round to get into the championship, then now you won't ever play that game again. So
yeah,
I don't know. It seems weird. Well, that's what you're doing wrong, Boyd. You should always play games to be the best in the world. But yeah, so that's World Series of Board Gaming.
Sure is.
I'm sure we'll hear about it when somebody wins, and we'll talk more about it then.
Yep.
Moving on to news and Kickstarters from news.
Yes. First up, we have a very difficult thing to name. It's Japanese hidden gems from board game tables. Dandelions and Psychic Pizza deliverers go to the ghost town.
Yep.
I'm sure it sounds much better in the original Japanese. But it's made a bunch of money. $83,000 of its $10,000 goal. About 2,000 backers, 2 weeks left to go, and you can get both these games for $46.
Indeed you can. So basically this is a new kind of line that BoardGameTables.com is doing because they feel like there's a lot of great games happening in Japan right now, but it can be hard to get them outside of Japan, especially if you need to translate them and things like that. So these are 2 of them that they are bringing over. They're both pretty straightforward, simple games. And so, yeah, we'll dive into them. So Dandelions is a 15-minute 2 to 3 player game. It's a roll and move area majority game. So essentially you are each little like a dandelion poof, and you're trying to spread your seeds the best around the garden. So at the very beginning of the game, you roll all 11 of your dice. And then as the game goes on, you're going to be choosing from those 11 that you roll how to move your pawn around the little garden boards. And the dice are the area control mechanism. So you want your dice to be on the different spots
Okay.
in various amounts. So there's 5 garden tiles, the 11 dice, and then your little player markers. It's only for like 3 players. Maybe 2 players can play it. I'm not sure. But you start off all on the same starting tile, and you play a die, and you move your little token that many spaces along. And each they have a varying number of spaces on each tile. So like the starting tile looks like it has 5, and then 4, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1 as you go around. So if you play a 3, you move 1, 2, 3 spaces. You bounce if you are landing on somebody else, so you can't land on somebody else.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All
and
right.
then wherever you stop, that's where you place your die. And if later on somebody comes along and they place a die that matches yours, they can bump it to the next tile, so your dice can get bounced around. And you kind of just keep playing in that fashion until all of the dice have been used. Then you go around and you tally up victory points. And the way the victory points work is there's 2 rounds of scoring. For each board, you look at who has the most dice on the board. They get some points. And then you look at who has the most pips on the board, and they get a different set of points. So there's like 2 rounds of scoring, 1 for most dice for all of the gardens, and then 1 for most pips for all of the gardens. And then you total all of that up, and you have an ultimate winner. So for a really like quick, lighthearted game, seems kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's another, one of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and it looks like you can play 2 players. So 2 to 3 players.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the next one of theirs?
The next one is Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town, which is the literal translation of the name of the game.
Yes.
So this one is a semi.
There's a
competitive.
GM. It's one. There's a GM and then 2 to 4 players.
Yeah. But the GM I don't think can win.
Yeah. Okay. It's not like a 1v all. It's a
No.
Okay.
No.
The delivery people are competing to be the first one to find and deliver a pizza.
Okay.
And I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about like what there is to make sure like the GM plays fairly, because basically the way it goes is the GM has in the box bottom and lid like forms the little player screen, and it shows the town, the layout of the town. But the town is dark and ghostly, so the players can't see. So each round, the GM will be giving clues about what things are where on the board.
The GM, a.k.a. Ghost Mayor.
Mayor?
Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ghost Town Mayor.
So
GM.
he's the
definitely
mayor
heard-
of Ghost Town.
I heard
he's
mayor
not
or-
necessarily a ghost.
Oh, we were talking about horses earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who mares.
So the pizza deliverers move blindly move around
Blindly move.
looking. They have to find the pizzas. Then they have to deliver them to the correct houses because they can't see the map. So they're just moving around on their little like grid. After each move, the mayor shares information about the surroundings. And I think that's probably like the GM's not really playing. They're just providing information. So like they look at where somebody is and they tell them like what the 4 spaces adjacent.
Like
4 to 8.
Battleship, except it's 4 players asking, F12.
Yeah, and you announce everything that's around them. Like
Yeah.
you could see all of these spaces adjacent to you. You can encounter fences, teleporters, and ghosts that move you around the board. And the first person to find a pizza and then deliver it to the house that wants that type of pizza will win the game. So,
Seems interesting.
It seems interesting.
Yeah.
I agree. The why they love it for this one, the top one is the name. No explanation needed.
You know exactly what's going on, so.
Yeah. But it seems just fairly.
What's the time to play this? 30 to 45 minutes.
This one they said was 30 to 45, I believe.
That might be a little long.
30 to 45 for 3 to 5 players.
For what it is, but I mean, how long is fresh fish?
Yeah. So yeah,
it's got a lot of neat components. It looks good. Also, both these games together are like $46, like $23 each.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal for.
There is an a la
games.
carte option where if you want just Dandelions at $17, if you want just Psychic Pizza Deliverers, it's $34. $46 if you get them together, which is 10% off. And then you can add on other games. I think actually maybe in this series, this might not be the first in the Japanese.
Mountain Goat Sequoia GPS, which I think we've talked about in many months past. But,
perhaps.
Yeah.
So, and they're looking to deliver it around July of 2022.
Cool.
So,
well, plus 3 to 6 months.
maybe they're already planning for that.
Yeah.
Maybe they're already on a boat. They do have psychics as part of the game.
They would need to be.
So, but yeah, that's Dandelions and Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town or something like that.
Or something like that.
Go to the Ghost Town. I got it right. So, last up on Kickstarters.
Last up on Kickstarter, we have Union Station. Made a bunch of money, a bunch more money than they thought it was gonna.
Oh yeah.
$28.8 thousand of its $8,000 goal. Just about 800 backers. Less than 2 weeks left to pledge. For $30, you can get this game. And it's there's been some controversy.
There was one person who was a smartass on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the latest game from Travis Hill.
This is an 18xx-ish.
Yeah. He formerly did the Low Player Count podcast way back in the day. He's a long time like rule editor.
Is this what other games is Travis Hill's?
He does a lot of weird train games.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. This is right up his alley.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So this
and it seems like it's a $30 train game.
It's a $30 train game.
It's a $30 train game.
Yeah.
Boy, people are really excited about a $30 train game.
I know I am. So it's a cube rails game for 3 to 5 players. And this game, he says, is more about share purchasing and stock manipulation versus route building. There's like different cube rail games can be a little bit one or the other.
I've played Raccoon Tycoon.
I don't know if that counts as a cube rail game. It might. But essentially, this game, you are each different, you're investors in various train companies, and you are
capitalists.
Yep, you're capitalists. You're trying to get money. And each round, you can basically do one of 3 things. You can lay track, you can buy stock, or you can sell stock. And the laying track is pretty straightforward. If you own stock in a company, you can lay track in that company. You choose one of the companies that you have stock in. You lay 2 tracks for that company. And then the stock market kind of shifts. The stocks that are available shift if there's any openings in it. Buying stock, again, very similar. The stock in this one, instead of all of the stock being available and open at the beginning of the game, it's going to come out randomly. So all of the shares of all of the 5 companies is shuffled up into a deck, and then it will come out and kind of move along a little bank where you can buy the stock from. And so the stock that's at the very end of the bank is going to cost whatever the value of the stock is plus
3.
Plus 3. But I don't know if it actually is plus 3. The space says stock value plus 3, but I can't remember. You might not actually pay that much. That might be the stock value then goes up 3. You pay the stock value and then the share goes up 3.
Okay.
But then in 2 and then 1. And then you can see whatever's on top of the deck. So you see what's going to become available as it like gets to the top of the deck. So there's a little bit of planning ahead. And as you build the rails out, when they connect to different cities and do things, like the stock prices go up more and more and more. And so you're trying to time when to sell stock or when to buy stock. When you sell stock, the shares go down. The value goes down because people are bailing on it. So you can reduce the value of other people's shares by selling in a timely fashion. And you're just trying to manipulate all of that in order to, at the end of the game, be the person with the most money.
Are the capstone games Cube Rail?
I think some of them are.
Okay.
I am not 100% certain if they count as Cube Rail. I don't have
It's a
the
very
train
fine
game
definition.
knowledge about what specifically constitutes a Cube Rail game.
Okay.
So,
Why do people listen to you?
yes. So the 3 in the Iron Rail series are all Cube Rail games.
Aha!
Good job.
Thank you, Hydra Buster.
I like Cube Rail games.
Yes.
Yes.
They are increasingly becoming my favorite kind of train games.
Yeah.
Especially because they can usually be played in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
And without a spreadsheet.
Yes. That's why I like them. They are good games.
Yeah.
I
So-
like those choo-choo games.
So it fits in a very small box, and it takes up not a lot of space because it's just basically like the area surrounding Chicago. It's all about Chicago's Union Station.
I've been there multiple times.
I may have at one point. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Certainly not multiple times.
It's not like a memorable train station. Like
It's not our Union Station.
it's less. It's actually less memorable than ours. At least ours has like an interesting exterior.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So pretty inexpensive to get. $30 if you want a copy of it. $5 if you want the print and play files. So pretty easy to get in on.
But so much so that this game blew out its one and only wave that they were planning on doing.
Yep.
And then they were like, I guess we're going to do a second one because they're like literally hand packing this entire game themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like a Chinese factory is doing it for them.
No.
Individually putting in every single Ziploc bag, one of the cubes.
Care and love.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's kind of where the drama that Jeff alluded to earlier. It's not really much drama. Like I said, it was one person being kind of snarky on Twitter.
It's like, oh, you sold out. Now you're like, oh, we're going to do wave 2, but you got to get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like, oh, you're combining FOMO and bait and switch.
Yeah.
How very punk rock of you.
It's like, we can only do 200 copies. Motherfucker, we have to hand pack all 200 of these copies.
and in the past, so this is like the third, I think, Kickstarter that Travis has done for small games of his. And they've pretty much always been 500 copies and out the door.
Yeah.
And like the first two were both, I think, around $2,000 or like $2,000 total, maybe. 8,000 somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
This one is
yeah.
skyrocketed above that.
Yeah.
And did it very quickly. I think
Like
it sold out almost day one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they looked into it and said, hey, we can get one more wave of this. We can make it happen. And they did. Yeah. So I'm excited.
It seems like a tiny game too.
Yeah,
It's
very small footprint.
It's like one of those tiny epic games
Almost,
Yeah. Of like, this is small. It's like, boom, choo-choo game. We can play this wherever we go.
I know. So I'm excited about it. I'm happy to support Travis and the stuff he's doing. I've delivered coffee to him at Geekway one time. So I don't know if he remembers me, but he's a coffee aficionado. And I had to run coffee from from Gen Con to Geekway.
Gen Con,
Yeah, like I
coffee
picked it up in Gen
beans.
Con, like fresh beans, picked it up in
I
Gen
see.
Con, and then later had to deliver
one
to him
cup
at
of
Geekway.
coffee and
Yes.
many
In the best thermos of all time.
many months later delivered his moldy cup of coffee.
But it's still hot. It's still hot, but
still
it's
hot.
hot moldy. It's
Hot mold.
Yeah.
Oh, ew. So,
Yeah, it seems neat. It's $30, whatever.
That's Union Station. I backed it. I got in on that wave too.
Sure.
Yeah. It's supposed to be delivering in November.
Yeah.
Or sorry, no. February. November's the print and play.
Yes, because the materials are probably already finalized.
Yep. So, yeah. That's it for news and Kickstarters this week.
Yep.
No listener feedback this week. I didn't refresh
There is not
the email.
There is not.
So
move along.
So that'll wrap everything up for tonight. Thank you, especially to everyone who was present in chat. Chat was very active today.
It was
Weird.
nice.
At one point we had like 11 people watching. It was crazy.
Wow.
Didn't even know how to handle it.
Yeah. Well, they were just impressed by our 0 dropped frames as opposed to the mini dropped
All
frames.
All
right.
right.
Everything's
Uh-huh.
been going
because
much
it's
better for
Monday
us.
and not Friday.
Yeah. If anybody would like to get a hold of us and send us listener feedback, there's a bunch of different ways you can do so. You can send emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We also have our Instagram account at MHGameGuys.
Woo.
Facebook.com/MHGameGuys, now complete with podcast episodes.
Actually hosts audio
I
on
know.
there.
Crazy. You can also go to punchboardmedia.com to find links to the news and Kickstarter items that we talk about.
That's where you should probably go.
Yeah. As well as links to things like the Slack channel.
Also where you should probably go.
Where you should definitely go. And our BGG guild number 2731. Also be sure to give us a follow over on twitch.tv/MHGameGuys so you can join in the live recording of most of our episodes. Occasionally we forego that for logistical reasons.
Yep.
But we try to do most of it.
Yeah, we try and occasionally have Friday streams where we play games. Too.
Indeed.
Sometimes.
MHGD is on
MHGD, yep.
Yeah. They're much more regular than our Friday streams.
That's true.
We were. And then I went to Costa Rica.
Trying to give you the benefit of the doubt.
I appreciate it. Yeah, gonna try and maybe do a stream this Friday if we can find something short because we have a movie.
Dune,
which I'm almost finished with the audiobook, so I will have listened to Dune.
Nice.
And I'm sure I'm already far enough in the audiobook where it's not going to be anything that's in the movie.
Yeah,
the
you
movie's
probably
because they split it in half. Yeah.
So I'm probably
everyone's
safe.
going to be like, what cliffhanger? I thought this was supposed to be the whole movie.
Yeah. That is all of that. There was something else that I was going to mention. Mile High Cabin Con. Speaking of the Slack channel and everything, Mile High Cabin Con, we have confirmed for sure we are doing 3 houses. So there's going to be 30-ish spots. Most of them are spoken for. There's a room for
3
spots.
We're looking at 3. And we have 4 maybes right now. So we have confirmed and maybes of +1 more than what we are allotting
for, but
yeah.
Because if we go over 30, people are going to get some pullouts, and that probably would not be ideal for some.
But we have some couples going together, so it helps.
We're getting close. We're getting close to capacity on individual beds.
Yeah. So if you are super interested in coming, be sure to reach out to us in some way, shape, or form so we can get you on the list, get you some information. We will be locking down rooms and beds and things in December.
So we got December 3rd.
So we are hoping, I'm hoping that Megan's kayaking organization announces what weekend they are doing there
before December 3rd.
Because they always do a big spring, first big kayak weekend of spring, big huge event. We're just not sure which weekend in May that's going to be. So hopefully it's not the same weekend as Cabin Con. Although I think I'm going to
Geekway is right next to Cabin Con.
Geekway is the weekend before Cabin Con.
Yes.
So we have, I think Josh is considering doing both.
Yeah.
He's going to drive from Chicago.
Well, he's definitely doing MHCC because he's confirmed.
Cabin Con.
Yeah.
I took the whole week off, so it'd be real easy for me to add on 1 or 2 days.
I have taken off MHCC, but I have not requested off the MH Geekway.
I have not done either yet.
Good old MH Geekway.
I have not done either yet, but I'm going to try to do both.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's everything. That's the episode. We're done. Thanks everybody for joining us. Both people on the stream and also listeners listening to this on your own time. Thank you for spending the last, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
Let's call it that.
Listening to our dulcet tones.
The most dulcet of tones.
And that's everything. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Spaceman Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.